though I do have a life coaching qualification as a level 3 diploma, and I'm working on my nutrition and health diploma as well. Good morning. How are we today? It is chilly over here in the UK. I don't know why I said it like that. Christmas is just around the corner. I'm sure plenty of you are putting up trees and decking the halls and all that shebang. And it bloomin' feels cold enough to be Christmas. I tell you, it is actually glorious out of my window this morning. I'm recording this on a Thursday morning, and there is frost on the tops of the trees, and it does look very, very pretty, but I am actually freezing. I'm wearing thermals. I'll tell you one thing, when you lose a significant amount of body fat, you don't half miss the insulation. I am permanently freezing all the time at the moment. It's really quite comical. Everyone's just laughing at me because I'm just shaking all the time, and I'm just not used to having a lower percentage of body fat, although there's still, I'm still quite cuddly in places. But certainly from where I was, goodness me, yes, it's been a bit of a change this year. This whole year has been something of a learning curve for me, in terms of plenty of aspects of my life. I have been through a sort of a friend breakup, if you will, which has taken an awful lot of my mental capacity to deal with, because there has been no closure on that. So it's all sort of a little bit up in the air. I don't know what that person's thinking. They don't know what I'm thinking. There's two sides to every story, and it's very unusual for me to go through something like this. But nonetheless, it has. And, one of my favourite phrases is that friends are with you for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. It's one of my absolute faves. And I really do believe that. I believe that there are a very, very small percentage of your friendships that will be with you forever. And those that you do have that are the forever ones, you've got to hold on to them so tight, because friendships are just like relationships. They require maintenance, they require communication, they require open and honest behaviour. When those things don't happen, things can go awry, and then you have to evaluate what you want to do to fix it, or if you do want to fix it. So anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this whole year. Obviously, this year has been a year of change, and it's been a year of weight loss for me, and a whole new mindset around food. And for the first time in my life, I really feel like I've got it now. I've got this sussed, and I feel absolutely confident that I'm going to go into maintenance before the Christmas phase hits, which is rather fortunate. And just get a handle on things, and I feel like I'm good. So anyway, that is again partially what I'm talking about today. I want to discuss today the Christmas period. Now, tomorrow for me in the UK is the 1st of December. Now, traditionally on the 1st of December, it's in our house anyway, Christmas decorations up, Quality Street open. That's how it rolls. And sometimes by the time I had put the Christmas tree up and done everything that needed to be done, and sat down in the evening, I'd snaffled a good maybe 10 Quality Street, not going to lie. It is what it is. Those little delicious buggers go down rather easily, don't they? So it's this year, obviously, with everything having changed and everything else, I have been a little bit anxious about Christmas. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Now, I know I'm supposed to be a life coach and supposed to have all the answers, and so absolutely not true. Anyone that tells you you've got all the answers is either incredibly arrogant or lying, or both. So I think it's really important to know that everybody's life goes through ebbs and flows and dips and troughs and peaks, and that is just how it is. There's no such thing as plain sailing. There's no such thing as everyone having all the answers. I continue to think that life is a journey, and every day is a school day from the day you're born until the day you pop off this mortal coil. So, yes, the Christmas run up has been giving me a little bit of anxiety, purely in the fact that I don't want to derail myself. I don't want to undo the work that I've done. And in the back of my head, I still have the occasional Slimming World demon there, reminding me or trying to remind me that I'm a failure, that I can't do it, and all these things. And this isn't exclusive to Slimming World. Diet club culture, I think, where you have it in your head that if you do one bad thing, FYI, there's bad. What's bad? One bad thing food-wise, then it's going to derail all your stuff. And in the past, because referring back to last week's podcast, I have been such an all or nothing person. I think that's why I think if I have one chocolate, then I'm going to eat 50 chocolates. And then if I have 50 chocolates, I'm then going to go on and think, well, I've screwed that, so I might as well open the Pringles now. Oh, and by the way, pass me the cashew nuts. And none of these things are bad. None of those things are going to necessarily derail you unless you let them. Okay, now it is, again, all about mindset at this time. It's really odd because now I've reached a point where people have an opinion and they want to tell me how I should do things and what I should do. And they're constantly asking questions. So I'm getting asked, you're not going to weigh your Christmas dinner though, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to weigh my Christmas dinner. Are you not going to not have any chocolates? You're not going to not have a Baileys? And I'm like, no. I'm going to have all those things. I'm not a drinker anyway. That is a podcast for another day, but I'm not a drinker. I didn't give up drinking because I had a problem with alcohol. I was never sort of in a place where I thought I was verging on alcoholism or anything like that. I drank a lot in the 90s when I was a student. I had a brilliant time. I regret nothing. But yeah, I think everyone seems to have this question, what are you going to do about Christmas? What are you going to do about Christmas? And now I have a plan for Christmas because I'm a planner and I am a big believer in the other phrase, which is, what is the damn phrase? Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. That was what I was trying to think of. My brain went blank. So yeah, I'm prepped and I know what's going to happen. So this is me personally. I'm not telling you what to do. You can do whatever the hell you like. You could be arse deep in the Quality Street by the time you've put up the first bauble. It's entirely up to you. You play the December how you want to play December. This is how I'm going to do it. I am going to change nothing other than the fact that I am allowing myself 3 days off over Christmas. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. There will be no weighing, no pointing. I still say no pointing. No weighing and no calorie counting over those days. I will still get my steps in. I have no doubt that I will get my steps in because I have 2 dogs. And those 2 dogs don't give a shit whether it's Christmas Day other than they get new treats. They will still need to go out for a walk. So I will come back to that briefly later on. So I'm still going to hit my steps on those 3 days. I'm just not going to weigh and measure everything. And I'm going to give myself those 3 days. And I think it is very, very important that if you are saying to yourself, I'm going to have a few days off at Christmas, decide what those days are going to be and decide in advance. And the most crucial part is to make sure that you have a day when you know you're going to get back on it. That is the thing. It has to have an end point. Because if you are anything like me and you have a tendency to start by thinking, well, I'll have a day off, and then it spirals, and before you know it, you've had 3 days, and then you've had a week, and then you've had 2 weeks, and by the time you've reached 2 weeks, you're so out of those habits, those new habitual behaviours that you have built, that you've forgotten, and you're back into your old habits, and that's it. It's over. Then you derail. Then you lose motivation. Then you think, oh, it's another failed attempt. So I am saying to myself, 3 days. And I'm going to enjoy those 3 days. Now, on those 3 days, am I going to get up and stuff my face with 10 Quality Street before I even start my day? No, I'm not. I'm going to enjoy those 3 days and I'm going to allow myself to dip into the Quality Street if I want to. But I am not going to use it as carte blanche excuse to behave like an arse for those 3 days and to turn myself into an absolute glutton. I want to enjoy it. And I want to not go to bed every night feeling sick as a dog. Now, this is something that I struggle with personally. I don't know if it's anything to do with having no gallbladder or, I don't know what quite it is. But if I eat too much, I suffer really badly all night, sort of into the wee small hours of not being able to sleep and feeling like I'm going to throw up and run into the toilet. And And it's just horrendous. So I'm not going to do that to myself, because the whole point of Christmas is that you're supposed to enjoy it with your family and your friends, right? So I'm going to probably get up and have my normal breakfast. I won't on Christmas Day, but Christmas Eve I will just get up and have my normal breakfast. And Christmas Eve I'm just going to allow myself that extra buffer of calories in the evening, so that I can sit down and just relax. Christmas Eve is a prep day for me. I do all my Christmas food, apart from the roast potatoes, prepped on Christmas Eve, because many years ago, when I was a sort of a fairly newer mum and I had two children, and I just realised that I was spending the whole bloody day in the kitchen. And I don't have an open plan house, so I'm not doing this anymore. So I started prepping everything the day before. And then all I have to do is set a series of Amazon Echo alarms, and they will tell me when to put the next lot of food in. So it's all about the prep, and I'm a big prepper. Again, fail to prep, prepare to fail. So I will do Christmas Eve. It's basically, there's a phrase of get out of my kitchen. That's what I do. I hibernate into the kitchen and I do all the food prep, and I have the radio on, and I just really enjoy getting everything ready for the next day. And then come Christmas Eve evening, it will be sit down, feet up, pajamas on, and just enjoy the anticipation. And we always have roast lamb on Christmas Eve in my family. I do it slow cooked with rosemary, and God, it's amazing. And I'm really looking forward to that. My key is going to be making sure that I have smaller portions that I would normally do. So I'm not going to get my Christmas Eve plate and pile it high full of food, because I did that on my birthday back in September and I felt sick as a dog all night. So I'm going to make sure that I enjoy it, and I'm going to make something like a pavlova, which will be a bit light, and lots of fruit, and it's going to be absolutely glorious. And then Christmas Day, again, I'm just going to play it by ear. I'm going to try and really tap into that mindful eating thing, where I don't just go, it's Christmas, let's get stuffed, and I don't want to do that this year. I want to enjoy the food, and I want to enjoy the day, and I want to enjoy my Christmas dinner. Most Christmases, by the time I sit down to eat my Christmas dinner, I am so full, because we always have a sort of morning breakfast thing whereby I do smoked salmon canapes, and we have a bit of party food, and there's always nuts and all those lovely little Christmassy things that you only have at Christmas. I put nuts out any other day of the year except Christmas Day. It just doesn't happen. I don't sit around with little dishes full of snacks, but that's what makes it so wonderful and so special. So I'm going to try and be very mindful with it. Am I hungry? Do I want it? If I do, and even if I don't, bugger it, but I want it, I'm going to have it, but I'm going to go smaller. So I'm going to load my plate less. I can always go back. If I want some more, then I can go and get some more, but I don't need to have 6 roast potatoes on my plate. I don't need to have, an entire side of turkey, like a half turkey. I do not need to turn into Joey Tribbiani with the meat sweats wearing maternity pants on Christmas Day. So that's basically how I'm going to play it. Each one of those days, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, those are my days off. I'm still going to make sure that I get out and get active. My gym is open Christmas Day. I'm not going to go to the gym on Christmas Day. I might go on Christmas Eve if I have time, and I might go on Boxing Day. Boxing Day, I usually go and see the in-laws, and we have the most amazing curry over at their house with all the leftovers. So that'll be something which will be really nice. But I might nip in a gym, or I might have those 3 days off. I don't really know. All I know is that what I really want to achieve, and what I think anyone that is on a fat loss journey should try and achieve, is make sure that what you don't do is sit still in a chair and become completely sedentary for those days. Try and factor in a little bit of activity and a little bit of, because you'll just feel better, particularly if you have become accustomed to doing exercise. If exercise is now part of your life, then it's super important, I think, that you then end up, where am I going with this? Like incorporating that still into the festive period, because your body doesn't know it's Christmas. Like your stomach doesn't know it's Christmas. Your muscles don't know it's Christmas. They don't care. They don't have their own brain. They're not like, oh, okay, right, fine, it's Christmas, we'll have a few days off. So they're going to still need to be fed the right things, and they're still going to need to have the exercise that they always have, because your body doesn't care whether it's Christmas. So, maybe a decent long walk. I mean, a walk on Boxing Day is always lovely, because you always wake up a bit sluggish on Boxing Day morning. It's a bit of a bit of anticlimax going on, and you're a bit stuffed from the day before. So I always find a really good bracing walk on Boxing Day. Get yourself wrapped up. If you've got dogs, get them out. If you've got kids, get them out. Go and, I don't know, jump in puddles. If you've got younger children, active games are great. That's why I always loved the Wii when I was growing up. A Wii's still a thing, but the Nintendo Wii was such a great thing because, on Christmas Day afternoon, you could play games and, go skiing or play tennis in the lounge and all those sorts of things. And or play Just Dance, those sort of games on where you're not just sitting and being very, very sedentary. When it comes to your Christmas meal plans and stuff like that, and you've got your Christmas dinner, just remember, and we need to remind ourselves that basically Christmas dinner is just a fancy roast, right? It's not the be all and end all. It doesn't have to have 18 courses if you don't want it to. We're all stuck with adverts every year of these adverts portraying this sort of Dickensian times where there's 25 people around your Christmas table. And, around my Christmas table, there's going to be 4. And underneath the table, there will be 2 begging dogs. There could be 4 of us for Christmas. We have a very low-key Christmas, and that's fine. And actually, everyone's on board with the fact that they all like the things that I cook every year. And Christmas dinner, the bonus of Christmas dinner is that it's not usually dished up for you. It's usually a case of I tend to dish up the meat for everyone, and then everyone tucks into the veg and whatever they want. So use that to your advantage. If you're eating at someone else's house, if you're not catering for yourself, and there's a big pile of potatoes or Yorkshire puddings or whatever, I know so that's very controversial, Yorkshires on a Christmas dinner or not. I think we're going to have them this year. We don't usually. My daughter makes wicked roast Yorkshires. But if there's piles and piles of vegetables, then, fill your plate with your veg and enjoy that, if you enjoy that. But I don't think Christmas is a time that anyone can tell you what you need to do. I think it needs to be how you feel in the moment, how you feel on the day. Now, I'm prepping for those 3 days off. Those 3 days off may go completely awry. Those 3 days off may be very similar to what I do now. Things might not change. But really, I think the bottom line is it's up to you. How do you want to play it? What do you want to do? And what have you got planned? So I'm very lucky in the fact that I work all the way over Christmas, so I don't have lots of Christmas parties and things like that to attend. I am the person that is providing the Christmas party. So from my point of view, I get to avoid that. Now, on my Christmas gigs at the hotel that we do a residency every year, and they feed us every year. But what they feed us every year is actually a very light Christmas dinner. So you'll get turkey, like 1 pig in blanket, and some vegetables and a bit of gravy and some roast potatoes. And that's basically what we get for our, band meal every night. The boys always eat my potatoes because I can't eat a big dinner and then get on stage and sing because I spend the whole time just going, oh God, I'm really full up. And that is very difficult to sing when your lung space is being taken up by half a turkey, right? So I tend to sort of, have maybe a snack earlier on in the day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to guesstimate that meal, stick it in my Fitness Pal for the whole of January, and then log that every time I have one, which will be twice a week. I'm not going to turn down free food, but I will make a guess on what I think this is. And I know what to expect. I've been doing it a long time now. So I know roughly what that Christmas dinner is going to look like. And it's we get a lot less than the guests do, let's put it that way. But it's fine. I'm always grateful for the feed, and the boys always grateful for my potatoes. So, but if you are somebody that is a very social person, your family is very social, your life is very social, you might find Christmas far more derailing than I do. And again, this is everyone's individual tale, everyone's individual story. And you have to be aware that only you know how you can play it. Only you know how much you want to stay on track. Do you want to stay on track this December? Do you want to say fuck it this December and click the fuck it button and just get on and enjoy Christmas and then start again in January? Personally, I don't, because I don't want to derail everything that I've done. And actually, for more reason than that, because I don't believe that 3 days off is going to derail anything for me. I think even if I ate like a pig for those few days, I'd gain a lot of water weight and then it would very quickly disappear. However, if I was doing it for a whole month and there was lots of Christmas parties and the dreaded beige buffet where everything is deep fried or everything is party food, everything is swimming in a sea of oil, and you have no control over what is being served to you, you might feel very differently. But just please remember the facts. If you are starting, a beige buffet is heading your way, remember the facts and remember that 3,500 calories is equivalent to a pound of fat. And that's 3,500 calories over, not 3,500 total. Okay, so if your maintenance calories are 2,000 calories and you eat an extra 3,500 calories, taking you to 5,500 calories, then you could gain a pound of fat. But 5,500 calories is a hell of a lot of food. Okay, and you have to do that consistently, not just on one day. Please bear with me. I need to let my dog in. Yes? Get in. Quick. Quick, quick, quick. Most people would pause and cut that out. Not going to do it. That requires a lot more editing, and you don't mind, do you? My dog's a lush. So yeah, please bear in mind the facts, okay? So, a couple of days of overindulgence are not going to do or undo 6 months worth of work, 6 months worth of learning, 6 months or, whatever. You, again, might feel very differently now. I was chatting to somebody who is on Team RH yesterday, it's a good friend of mine, and she started in October. And she is very much at the moment where she's sort of avoiding situations where she might have to overeat. And I was talking to her and I said, you do realise you don't have to do that. You don't have to stop going out for tea and cake with your friends. You don't have to say no to invitations. She was like, no, I know. And she said, and time will come when I don't. But at the moment, I'm so early into my journey that I don't want to derail myself before I've got into those new habits. And I'm like, I totally get it. Totally get it. But 6 months from now, I hope she's saying yes to those things. And if you're listening, my darling girl, I really do. You've got to learn to incorporate them into your life. But I 100% understand why, if you're right at the beginning of your journey, you might not want to do that. And you might want to go, do you know what? I'm just going to avoid it. I'm going to stay at home and I'm going to focus on myself. And that is fine, because you're doing this hopefully for yourself and your nearest and dearest. You should be doing this primarily for your own benefit and for your own health and your own well-being. And that then has a knock-on effect to the people that you love and the people that you care about. Okay, so you might just have to say, do you know what? In the short term, I'm going to have to look after me first. And I'm sorry, but that means I'm not coming to your party, because I'm in danger that this is not going to align with my goals at the moment. This is not going to help me reach where I want to be. I think it's very easy to slip down a Christmas rabbit hole. There's stuff everywhere. There is everywhere you go, and it's just all food, isn't it? It is, from the day one of the Advent calendars being open, and then it's chocolate and nuts and crisps and all these things that are absolutely everywhere. And not to mention the fact that you not only could you gain weight because these things are very highly calorific, but and they're so easy to snaffle. So you can eat a lot of calories in a very small amount of time and a very small volume of food. And that's what it is. This is why I always take issue with the phrase eat less, move more. No, it's not about eating less. It's about eating less calories. It's not about eating less volume. You can eat lots of volume and stay satiated and full and happy and content and well nourished. And really, it's got to be nutrition first, because the one thing you don't want to do at Christmas is get sick. And the surefire way of getting sick at Christmas is to stuff your face full of stuff that has no nutritional value. So, I always take advantage at this time of year of the fact that you get the proper satsumas. Now, if anyone can tell me, where do the satsumas go after Christmas? Why do we revert back to clementines and easy peelers? Because this is the only month you can get the proper good satsumas, and they're freaking epic, and I make the most of them because I bloody love a satsuma. And they're really, really, really low in calories, and they're really, really, really good for you. They're great immunity boost, full of vitamin C. So make sure that you're nourished as well over this time. And I'm not talking about the days that you might say, oh, I'm going to have those days off. I'm talking about the whole month, because the last thing you want is to get a stinking cold just before Christmas and then spend the whole of the Christmas period feeling like actual shit. So focus on your nutrition, focus on nutrient-dense foods, focus on, good things that are going to fill you up and make you feel great. And when it comes to the chocolates and the nuts and the crisps and the Pringles and the endless supply of Quality Street, because the bastards know that we snaffle them all before the 2nd of December. And then they decided to make those pouch bags where you can go and refill the bloody tin so you don't have to buy another one and try and hide the evidence. It's much easier to hide a pouch bag, isn't it? And this is coming from somebody that absolutely knows. All right, I know about the hiding of packages. I know all this stuff. So they've now made it so easy for you to refill them with refill bags. Bastards, utter bastards. So, before you fall knee deep into all that stuff, I want you to just stop and think about the following question. Okay, so there is the Quality Street in front of you, luring you in. What's your favourite? I love how controversial this subject is. I myself would always go for a strawberry cream first, closely followed by the orange cream, closely followed by the crunchy orange one. Oh my God, they're all epic. Okay, that makes other people shudder and they're like, oh no, the creams are disgusting. My personal opinion is that a toffee penny has no business in a Quality Street tin. I talked about this with Tina. It is not a chocolate. That is a box of chocolates and it is not a chocolate. But I'm just going to send them to her this year. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and check out the Tina Teapot. Okay, the question I want you to ask yourself when you're about to delve face first into the Quality Street or the nuts or the Pringles or whatever it is that you think is your derailing food, is it going to make this situation better? Is it going to make me feel happier in this situation? Okay, now if the answer to that question is yes, I'm sitting watching Elf, I've got my pyjamas on, the tree is up, it is lit, it's looking beautiful, the gingerbread candle is burning, and actually it will make me happier to round this off with 3 or 4 Quality Street. Then go for it, girl. Go for it. I love it. Or go for it, bloke, whoever's listening. I think it's absolutely fine. Okay. But maybe if you are trying to stick to a calorie deficit, think about just reducing what you would have had this time last year. I hope that helps. The bottom line is no one can tell you what to do. And I'm not telling you what to do. I would never tell anyone what to do. I'm just giving you my plan for this December. But no matter what it is, just please don't think that you can undo all your progress by having a couple of sweets out of a Quality Street. You can't, okay? Keep tracking if you track. Keep being mindful if you are mindful. Keep a track, write things down. Have an idea. If you need to journal at this time of year, that's a really great way of doing it. Get those thoughts down on paper. It makes them real and it makes them feel a little bit closer to home when you can actually sit down and write them down. So if you're struggling with anything, just sit down and write down your thought process. Really, really helps. I hope you have a lovely week. Next week should be special guest week. And if you can leave me a review or give me a share, that would make all the difference, because new podcasts are very difficult and slow going to get started. But I appreciate you listening and I hope you have a lovely, lovely week. Take care, my darlings. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please give me a little rate and review. That would be amazing. You can also, if you're listening from Spotify, share straight to your stories. If you've enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it. Let's get some reviews going. That'd be amazing. Take care.